on Eternal Empire for game number 1. In the bottom left, this from Brave Star Gaming is Cyan.
And over in the top right, making it out of the lower bracket, this is Time.
The lower bracket, you say, Zeph? What's he doing down there? Oh, that's right, Cyan. Put him down there.
So
Revenge
wild.
time. So wild, so crazy, so fresh. So yeah, Cyan. Technically this is game 2 as far as score is concerned, but the first game that we're broadcasting.
Yeah, I think the thing I really loved about Cyan's play the last time they met was how much he adapted and switched it up. Like, I expected little tweaks. Usually you do when you've had some time to prepare and you're maybe not the favored player. But it was like a 180 to me. He's been a really standard Protoss, happy to sit back, get 3 bases. It's nothing out of the ordinary here for Cyan for the most part. But come crunch time, we saw a lot more aggression and a lot more harassment out of him, which was really, really key in taking Time down.
Right, and speaking of Time, he is going for a pretty regular opening here. It's Reaper with a Marine behind it, so just keeping it nice and safe. Delays your reactor somewhat, but something we actually see from Terrans a little bit in this matchup on this particular map is very fast third CC. That is a little bit more common here on this map, just because it is so big. You have the ability to get that third without too many ways for the Protoss to punish that. I mean, obviously, that parting 4-gate blink build is definitely one way to just ruin a Terran that goes for the fast third CC, because they're slowing down tank production and Marine production, and they're not buying bunkers. That's, yeah. I'm not going to be super crazy, super insane to see some of that in the bigger maps, maybe on Ice and Chrome. As we can see, Time is actually grabbing that second gas, so no fast third CC in this game. It's going to be a regular timed one.
Yeah. We've seen variety out of Time on this map as well. This was the one map that Cyan took in the best of 3, having gone with the mech. And Time actually almost came back in that one as well. But then we saw him fall back to a much more normal style for him, relying on biotank, hitting that like +1 upgrade timing, and again into that third base play that we're more familiar with. So some tech coming down here from Cyan, and as Sano showed us, Time has not seen it.
Yep. Twilight Council, Robo going down, and the gateway count here for Cyan isn't super sinister, but you know what it is? Charge. I think Cyan watched some Prince the other day. Seth?
Oh, my new hero? Hell yeah.
Everyone's favorite new Protoss. The one that we've been seeing in Eliminate League every single week. That Maynard's been casting for a year. That guy? That's right, I'm being a hipster right now. Casting Prince before it was cool.
That's exactly it. Yeah, really cool to see some of this fresh blood coming through. And that's what I was hoping that Cyan would be channeling last time that they met, because it was the day that Prince played Maru. Not going to spoil it, but if you haven't seen that, check it out. It was interesting to see the different kinds of aggression that can come out, especially from your players. Now, we've seen a lot of charge from Cyan, and it has been pretty successful. It's the thing that he's kind of been rolling with, whether it's a sort of early attack with a warp prism straight into the main, or if it's more like an 8-9 minute attack later in the game. Kind of seems to be his jam at the moment.
I could actually completely see this working for Cyan. Time is playing a very regular opening, and he does not look prepared at all for a big charge lot attack. I mean, how many gateways is this? We've got 2 more finishing up right now. I can say they can get a gateway count check really quick here. It is... All right, so it'll be 6 gateways.
6, there we go, yep.
Yep.
Yeah, this is going to turn up the heat pretty fast here.
Yeah, so it's not an all-in, but it's pretty committed.
Yeah, well, you want to do some damage with this, right? He does play low gas styles a fair bit, and one thing we've remarked on here is that it does mean that your splash comes a little bit later, your chunky immortals and whatnot. So you want to see what you can get done here. He's sort of scouting around with that observer there, actually going straight from the front door here onto that bunker, changes target to that tank.
Cyan's bungling this a little bit. These charge lots aren't finding a ton of damage in the natural. Oh, the main base, though. Hello, there's the plan from Cyan. Hitting one place while hitting the other. The tank is exposed. All the boys are stuck on the ramp here because of that chunky tank. But it is a bit of a choke point where the boys are super safe, as are the Marines. And while Time is definitely losing workers, it's not like Cyan has a ton of probes himself. So it kind of evens out with the Terran having an equal worker count to the Protoss. And with that third command center in the main base, he's equal bases as well.
Yeah, he's not done yet with the aggression. There's something poking the third nexus of Cyan as well. It's not doing any huge damage. It's just a couple of Hellions, so maybe that's why he's not doing anything there yet. He will have triple probe production in a second, but he's actually floating a lot, paying attention more so to this attack. The War Prism does have to hightail it out of there.
Yeah, you're quite right on that bank. Cyan's minerals floating a little bit here. He's a big fan of Zest. The Hellion get excused from the natural as well. Yeah, only Zest can defeat Zest.
Yeah.
He's impervious to mortal weapons.
True. All right, well, we see a little bit more tech coming out from Cyan now. I feel like that didn't really come to a head like he'd hoped. A few SCVs is okay, but he lost a lot there as well. And the aggression is now stopped. He's actually going to move into the Dark Shrine, which is a cool idea here. Still hasn't really gone hard on the probes. There we go. Now he's doing 3 at a time. He's still doing 2 at a time for a period there. I feel like his work account, as you sort of pointed out, could be a little bit healthier at the moment. But maybe the next round of aggression can make the difference.
Yeah, the macro from Cyan was a little bit iffy during that attack. He seemed like he was very sort of like, he had horse blinders on. He was very focused on the charge loss and the stalkers with the prism, and it didn't kick in any pro production back at home. You know, he didn't drop forges or rather start those upgrades up just yet. We do have an upgrade for Cyan on the way, but it's just armor. There's no attack upgrades here, and Time's already got +1 in this bio. That means that these gateway units are going to find a very tough time actually trading well with these Marines. Like, just the Marines here are actually terrifying for Cyan at the moment. He doesn't have any splash damage. With a Dark Shrine, he will be able to make Archons, I suppose. But, oh, hello. Hello, Prism. Wrong neighborhood, buddy.
Great pick off there for Time. That's one less thing to worry about for sure. And straight away, he makes another Warp Prism because he was planning on using that very shortly. Also going to find this Pylon. I wouldn't be surprised to see that Pylon pop up again from Cyan later down the track if we get there, because it's a really common point to warp in and then just get some Zealots into the natural, for example, maybe while you're pressuring the third. One Zealot here tries to be a bit of a pest, but does get bopped. And in the meantime, Time is getting pretty close to doing some damage at the third base of Cyan. Now, it looks like Cyan's reasonably in position here, but that's a strong push.
Yeah, I think he's in position, but I don't know if he has the army count to deal with this army. He can make some DTs here, I suppose, forcing Time to scan. He's morphing more and more Zealots, though. If Time's army gets together and he keeps pushing with all these medevacs, I think he can actually A-move this army to death. It actually is getting close to that point. Oh, he's going to go for the main base here, knowing that the army of Cyan is kind of stuck in the third. Whoa, Time, easy, Tiger. It's freaking me out over here.
Yeah, Time almost second-guessing himself there by the looks of it.
Oh, no. That's terrible for Cyan. Most of his army didn't make the recall. The Bifrost was too small. DT's in the main base, though, doing some SCV damage.
Oh, man. A lot of damage being done here. Skanger's down in the main, and he's just targeting down the Nexus. He's definitely going to get it. Cyan knows he doesn't have enough to contest this. DT's now into the third base as well, and the units are actually just camping out near the missile turret, hoping to get the bio there. Oh, my goodness.
He killed the Dark Templar.
No, the probes.
Yeah, the probe's coming in for a fight, but it looks like while both players are doing damage to each other on each side of the map, Time doing way more than Cyan. So Cyan taps, and we are tied 1 apiece in that score. So the series has basically become a best of 5 from here on out.
Yeah, it sure has. Cool little macro game there. I think Cyan sticking with that charge aggression is a good idea, but kind of a weird engagement there, going straight for the bunker and then going, actually, no, I want the tank, but by that point, I was surrounded by SCVs, so didn't really get a lot. The main base was, I like that, to be fair, that was more of a distraction while the main base part of it went on. But still, I feel like Time, one of his strengths here is his ability to keep his cool. He just doesn't really get too ruffled. He handles it to the best of his ability and gets on with it. And we also mentioned here that Cyan's macro throughout this left a little to be desired.
Yeah, we're going to see a float here in a second as Cyan's wave of zealots is going down, but actually skipping past that and going to the counterattack here of Time. And honestly, I think Time's army beats Cyan's army straight up right here. It looked like he maybe just respected the shield batteries. Obviously, shield battery overcharge is something that's new to the game, so he's just going to try and jump up to the main base instead. And that recall into the main to try and defend up there, I mean, you have to split your army because Time can just bounce between the main and the third right with these medevacs. Unfortunately, that left him halving an army that I already thought wasn't powerful enough to beat this +1 attack wall of Bio.
Yeah, he just couldn't clean this up. He was really banking on the DTs to do more damage. But if you can't kill the army that's in your main base, then it doesn't really matter how much the DTs are doing unless they're also taking out a main base of your opponent. So yeah, interesting first game. We'll hop into the second one momentarily. But first, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back soon.
Today, I don't care what you think of me. You know what I think of you. And this time I found my way. I know just what to do. Yeah. I'm back on top and I don't need anybody else. Anybody else, yeah. I'm back on top and I don't need anybody else. Anybody else. I'm back on top and I don't need anybody else. Anybody else, yeah. Say to you, 'cause this time I found my way. I know just what to do. Yeah. I'm back on top and I don't need anybody else. Anybody else, yeah. I'm back on top and I don't need anybody else. Anybody else. I'm back on top and I don't need anybody else. Anybody else, yeah. I'm back on top and I don't need anybody else. Anybody else. Wasn't looking for love tonight. Wasn't looking for love tonight.
G'day, StarCraft fans. Welcome back to the DreamHack Summer Chinese playoffs. We are in the grand final between Time and Cyan. Currently tied up 1 apiece. Cyan had that map advantage from winning in the winner's bracket and getting through into the final that way. Time gets that first map win, though, and basically removes that advantage from Cyan. It's just like, takes it away. And now it is an even series all of a sudden. That was a very scary moment for Time at the beginning there from Cyan. When he got that second blow of the Prism in the main base with the charge lots and the Stalkers, you were mentioning yourself, that seemed to be his plan all along. Oh, look at these charge lots in your natural. Oh, you're going to hold those? Big deal. Here's a massive warp in the main base. But yeah, that was kind of the only window where Cyan looked really good. Like, it looked like he was about to do some pretty critical damage. From then, though, it was the Time show. It was show time. if you will, where he just managed to make the right decision over and over and over and over again and trade well over and over and over again until he got the win. Let him drive, if you will.
That's right. I think our next map is going to be Pillars of Gold. Curious to see what he does on this map. He has been a big fan of Twilight openers in almost every game we've seen him play against the Terran. So I don't see him deviating too much from that. It's kind of like, is it a Blink build or is it a Charge build? That's kind of the two things that Cyan's been rolling with. I think we saw him try and go straight for an Immortal one time as a bit of a curveball and try and do some damage early on. Didn't really have a lot of success there. I kind of like his Blink openers because it's pretty safe, pretty standard. It gives him a lot of vision, and he's done a pretty good job with like that, identifying those kind of tank pushes coming out across the map, picking off bits and pieces out of that, because you know he's going to be facing one at some point here.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know, maybe like would he try something like the Parting build again in this series?
I mean, this is Pillars of Gold, right, that we're going into?
Yeah.
This was the map where Cyan did do the Parting 4-gate against Time, and actually just like it was the freest win he had in that series in the best of 5 that they first played in the winners match. So maybe that's how he likes to play this map in this matchup. We could be seeing it again. Hopefully Time is able to scout it. I remember last game, the reason why he kind of folded so hard to that build was really because his Reaper didn't get a whole of scouting done. It was forced back at home to keep his command center alive, and he didn't get into the main base because of that wall off. But anyway, in the top right here, winning game number 2, the first broadcasted map, tying it up. It is the Blue Terran Time. Kaisi Gaming.
And in the bottom left, spawning in the red, this is Cyan.
Now, historically, when Cyan has been spawning as a red color, he's been winning. But he didn't last game. Streak has been broken. I only noticed that because his name is a color. And I'm like, oh, Cyan feels like he should be a blue color, at least a shade of blue.
I think what they've actually started doing is being like, you must stick to this color the whole match so we don't have that like flip-flopping around between the two. I don't know.
Thank you, Insano. My God. I'm one of my ambulance. It's actually probably not Insano. It might be production.
Might be.
Now, we are seeing a Marine first here from Time instead of Reaper first. Certainly a little bit different. Considering how important scouting is, that leaves me a little bit baffled, but oh well. He's a better Terran than me. I'll allow it, I guess. This one moment, I'll allow it.
Yeah, I guess he has been doing a few of the Raven builds, like the super safe opener and whatnot. So if he's comfy, I guess that's okay. He's actually going to patrol around a little bit with this Marine just to make sure that there's nothing too wild happening near his base that he should know about.
Making sure he's not getting max paxed. It's legit. Yeah, you got to look out for that pylon because early second gateway builds are very, very deadly if you low ground expand specifically. You can just die.
Absolutely. So grabbing that second gas and heading to the factory from here. And I'm just kind of looking at Cyan's production tab there, wondering what he's going to roll with in just a moment.
Sentry after the Adept here. Now, this usually with a Sentry like this, you kind of expect Cyan to be like, banking up some hallucinated energy and just being reactive. And the Robo starts here after the gateway.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to keep an eye on Cyan here. I mean, everything from Time looks pretty normal, apart from the fact that he didn't open with a Reaper. It is, early couple Winter Mines here. Maybe into a medevac if he wants to go for the Winter Mine drop, but he's looking very, very safe.
Yeah, got that bunker and everything. And we'll see if he has any success with the early harassment once that starport is done. Yeah. Still warming up here in the early stages. And keen to see what we're going to be getting out of that Robo with Cyan here. He's typically not stuck with the Robo first thing in the match. The one time we saw him do it, again, straight into a Mortal War Prism. So
yeah, it's very macro build here from Cyan. It's actually very, apart from this being an Oracle rather than a Phoenix, which Time does not, he's not getting debated too hard here.
Oh.
Some splash damage on the SCVs. No one well played. This is where time just says, clever girl. Lets it happen. Cyan looks like he's about to take a third base.
Yeah, cool. Nice. Gentle introduction to this game, and he can head into that more usual Protoss composition that we see from him, heading into maybe some Immortals, getting that Twilight down, and getting some mobility on those gateway units happening. So, okay, straight into the robo facility.
Okay, I like it. So there's Pylon here, spotting unit for the drop of time. And he's actually unloading the Widow Mines here right now. Maybe expecting something to fly past this direction. This is a very interesting setup for time at the moment. Now, with the robotics bay going down for Cyan, it could just be expecting a tank push and going very fast Colossi. So this delays his third by quite a bit. Most Protosses want their third at this point, which is why I mentioned it. But as it starts up, he's delayed it somewhat to get the robotics bay, which makes you very safe against early pushes, like if there's a boy pool or something like that. But when I see this Prism Zep, I feel it might be balls.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder what the choice is here for this Robo Bay, because typically what I think we've seen Cyan do a little bit more is go with Blink and then go into Colossus or something. Okay, so extended Thermal Lance is popping out here. This is a bit of a mixed bag. I'm not...
Yeah, this is going to be a Colossus. Cyan supply blocked! Oh no, Cyan, he's supply blocked. He needs his Colossus so badly. This is exactly where the Colossus is meant to stop.
Oh no, Cyan. Well, at least he catches this in the middle of the map. He can start poking at it, delay it a little bit, but that pylon is going to be like the
he wasted the chrono
building pylon ever.
Oh my god, he wasted the chrono on it as well. He chronoed a supply blocks Colossus. Oh my god. And there's the Widow Mine drop from time.
Is he watching?
Oh my
He's
god.
not watching.
And he's got a Liberator in the main base. This is literally a TY build. Time applying the TY here. Our reigning GSL champion to Cyan. Oh, this is such a rough setup. Cyan needed that Colossus so badly.
Maynard, I think this is going to be a very fast game here. He's going to really struggle to clean this up. The Colossus still isn't out. And even if it does come out and he cleans all of this up, he's lost a lot of workers. And yeah, time reinforcing it a little bit here as well. He's got his own third finishing at home. And Cyan moves in, tries to break it. He's got the War Prism for the micro there. Retreats back to the shield battery, which is being overcharged. And these tanks going strong. The bunkers looking like they might finish here as well. At least one of them will. And Cyan actually deciding to go around this, maybe going in for a flank.
I mean, the thing is, the Colossus was useful before the bunkers got set up, before the tanks got sieged. Now it's not really, because it'll just get deleted by the tanks. So loading up the War Prism with the Colossus and going for harassment is probably the best thing he could do right now, strange enough to say. The tanks are just encroaching into the position. He's going to try and get up to Disruptors, but now the tanks are in range of this robotics facility.
Well... Oh, okay. Well, this is a different take on it.
Yeah.
I kind of like this, actually. He might be able to do some good counter damage. Unfortunately, it still means he has to micro on two fronts. Will get a tank there, loses a bunch of Stalkers in return, though. And that's kind of his only unit here. The shield battery unpowered, as well as the upgrade happening on that robo base. So, oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, losing the robotics facility is actually kind of a death sentence here for Cyan. You know, he's been lacking those Twilight Council builds. At the moment, he doesn't have anything like Charge or Blink or anything like that on the way here. Good Disrupted Nova, going to get rid of all those Marines. Very nice. But losing the Robo Bay, losing the Robotics Facility, this already looks really devastatingly bad for Cyan. He's taken so much damage from this push. Keep in mind that he's lost a lot of probes as well. Like time, this isn't even all in. This is a committed pressure that did way more damage than Cyan should have allowed to happen. And now time is just super far ahead with his third base, even getting the observers on the other side of the map. That's the second observer he's killed on his side of the map.
Yeah, he's getting a new robo, now going into double forge, more gates. It's like he's trying to just ramp up from nothing here again. And he is behind, quite behind. He's down on workers, he's lost a lot of stuff. His tech isn't really evolved here. I do love that he's still trying to get some stuff done with this Colossus, though. He can definitely be a huge pest with this for a little while longer. Gotta watch it with those Marauders, though. And with the Raven out... An interference matrix on this Prism with the Colossus unloaded is, it completely shuts this down as the Colossus is stuck.
And then the prism is empty. So Cyan is going to try and recover here. He is consistently just building probes and trying to get his macro looking a little bit better while getting into the SCV count of time, which he is doing. But now there's 2 Vikings. He's got the prism speed, thankfully, so it does survive.
Yeah, there we go. And he might even spot this coming out, which is really handy for him.
Time has him. Okay.
It's just a little bit too speedy, I think. I don't think he's going to
that prism's fast.
risk it for the biscuit. Can he get a good disruptor shot to start things off here? Because that would help out a lot. This is a big force.
Oh,
my
that's
goodness.
stuck in there now. Can't unload.
Yeah, tries to get a shot. 1 tank very damaged, but there's just too much tyranny. This army supply is huge for time in comparison to what Cyan has. He's banking on 1 Colossus. The War Prism goes down there. 1 disruptor left, and it's too much time. Takes the second game, going up 2-1. And, yeah, look, a couple of these games, it's kind of the shoe on the other foot scenario from the last series they played, right? Where it felt like Time was making a few mistakes, very uncharacteristically, and the opponent, Cyan, in that case, was really capitalizing on it. This time in this grand final, when it really matters, it seems like Cyan is buckling under the pressure. A few very basic macro mistakes, floating a bit of money in game 1, getting supply blocked when you really can't afford to be supply blocked, when you're under attack from that push of the Terran. And this is a very standard build right now from Time. You hit the main base with the Liberator, you mine drop the natural, and then you tank push with a few SCVs for bunkers on the low ground. If you don't have your tier 3 robotics units out, whether it be Colossi or Disruptors out, when this hits, you are in such a world of hurt. Because think about what you're giving up here for the fast robot bay. You don't have blink, you don't have charge, you don't have any upgrades. Your army just can't stand and fight this without your long range splash damage. That's absolutely right. Like all of these builds that Protosses are doing are kind of geared towards being able to survive this kind of attack and then continuing on with whatever the plan is, whether it's an attack of your own or continuing to the 3 base, moving up that tech tree. And he just never got the opportunity here because he took so much damage, and it wasn't from one of them. It was from all of them at once. Couldn't hold the attack at the front, partially because of his own mistake there. It's hard enough even when you do have the Colossus out ready to go. He lost some to the Lib, he lost some to the mines, and this push, Cyan stayed in it for the chance that he might be able to recover, but ultimately that next push was pretty set on killing him because the army supply was double for Time, macro looking good. Everything was going his way. Even if it did get cleaned up, I feel like he just would have lost a little bit further down the track. So rough one for Cyan there. This is probably not the start that he was looking for here in the series, going down in the first 2 games, really only having that 1 point from the map advantage. And there hasn't really been a big moment for Cyan yet where we're like, ooh, he's on the cusp of winning.
Yeah.
Not really.
No, you're absolutely right in that regard. These past 2 games in a row have been very rough for Cyan. There's never been a moment in the game where he's been winning. If you just want to make it that simple, if you just want to get to the layman terms, he's never been winning at any point in these games. Obviously, Cyan is a very, very good player. We're hoping that he's not getting too emotional, that he can just flush that game out of his system and just get into this next game with a clear mindset, because if he keeps making mistakes like that, Time is absolutely going to walk over him. He's looking very sharp, very methodical right now, and this is the Time that we know and love, and he's really bringing it when it counts here in the grand final. On the far left of Golden Wall, this map snuck on in there. I guess it happens when it's the best of 7. On the far left from Kaiser Gaming, it is the Terran Time.
And his opponent looking to put a point on the board. He needs to stop Time from going to match point here. Lot on the line. This is Cyan.
Get him, Cyan. I don't have a horse in this race. I just want good StarCraft, good games. I am a big fan of both these guys. I was already a fan of Time and already knew of Cyan, but hadn't seen a ton of his games. But after just, having the honor and privilege of being hired to cover the Chinese region along with my good friend Zeph, I feel like I get to know these players a lot more just from the last 5 days. And I am definitely a huge fan of some of these Chinese players that I never really got to see a whole lot of. I obviously knew Cyan, I knew Silky. I knew that they existed. I knew that they were good, but I didn't know what kind of play style they had. And I am definitely a fan of Silky now, even though he lost his series against Time. Just it's he's a refreshing Zerg is what I want to is the best way I think I can describe him. Very aggressive, but doing things that no other Zerg does in a game that is so old, and an expansion that is 5 years old now, almost half the lifespan of StarCraft 2. It's just so cool to see someone just not care about the meta and break the mold and play a style that they want to play and still get maps every now and then. We even got a map against Time. He's one of the best players in the world. Just playing his way.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah, I'd agree. The thing I love the most about covering these regions is definitely finding those hidden gems that we didn't quite know about. Maybe it's a name you've heard once before. And then having the opportunity to give them the stage here and show why they're the rising star or why they're number 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever in the scene. Because not everybody gets to have that moment, right? So what's the tech looking like in this game? We have a Stargate coming out from Cyan, currently poking at the front here to try and catch on to what Time's doing.
At the moment, it's Marines and Hellions, or Hellion, not plural Hellions. Actually, yes, there's a second one on the way here. So we've seen Time kind of go Reaper Hellion at the start of TVPs. This time he's actually going to try and load up the medevac early and put some aggression on against a guy opening Stargate. Now, if he opens Phoenix first, I actually feel like he might be in a spot of bother. I think the Oracle gives him a lot more hope to be able to stop something like a Hellion drop because you can gun down the Hellions. With the Phoenix, you can shoot down the medevac and lift up one of the units. But it is tough to actually kill the Hellions with just Stargates and like 1 or 2 gateway units. Especially if they're adepts.
The reason that Hellion opener is so strong, right, is that they're just so slippery. The units early on, I suppose Oracle aside in this case, just they fire so slowly. You feel like it's taken 10 years to actually clear them out, and your poor probes are running all over the place trying not to line up at the same time. Now Cyan just on patrol.
He's ready for it.
Yeah,
Cyan is actually reading Time like a book here. I actually am not super shocked to see this because this is such an insanely common way for Terran to play this map right now. They know like, oh, it's Golden Wall. I got a little spot down here that you can't see. But Cyan is just like, I mean, I watch GSL too, mate.
Yeah.
Shield battery here.
Got
Ooh, lining up though.
Out as well. Picks up and heads into the natural. I actually like this idea. Maybe able to get a few more probes. Well, there's a shield battery here as well, which complicates things. Those Hellions are so low.
Cyan is actually a very, very good defense here. Very good defense. Loses 4 probes. Obviously, that's damage. But he's killed 3 Hellions and the medevac. There's only so long that can boost.
Beautifully done. And down it goes. And he's actually continuing down this Phoenix path, which is really cool. I think this is just such a strong style against Terran. Obviously, you can pick up a lot of the key units. You have a lot of harassment potential. You can always be picking off an SCV or something out on the map there. So he's actually going to push out here with a bit of a force. He's got Phoenixes and Adepts, as Sano is showing us there. There is a pretty solid spot here at the front for Time to defend from.
The Shade's going to finish that. Oh, wow. That's I mean, I was going to say if that Shade finishes, Cyan is going to lose pretty much everything. So I'm pleased he didn't.
Yeah. And Vikings, along with the Cyclone, going to try and push those air units away for the moment. More of those being produced behind this as well. But Cyan very comfortable now to go for a 3rd base and heading into the Twilight, the Forge. And we'll start seeing some more of that tech pop out. And yeah, so the cool thing about Golden Wall, I guess, is that we will see another longer game from these guys.
Yeah, that is true. Got a 3rd Nexus on the way here for Cyan, a lot more regularly timed. Looks like Time is actually going to take his 3rd at the gold base. Still being very careful with these units. Until you have, your combat shield, stim, etc. It's always questionable to move those Marines out unless you're going for that exact push from last game where you go without stim and you just use the bunkers to basically have some longevity for the Marines. That's a bit of a mistake here from Cyan to send in the units and kind of park them on the mineral line without casting any abilities. Takes a lot of damage on those Phoenixes, doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, he's just getting a bit more production up here. Perhaps just a little bit more concerned about what's going on in his own base as he gets set up here for the mid-game.
Didn't get Blink?
Token Cyan, he loves his charge.
He certainly does. I mean, I guess you don't really need Blink, right? Because you have Phoenixes that kind of do the same thing, which is the lifting and killing of tanks, the picking off of air units. Ooh, Widowmine softens up that one Phoenix there. Is going to get some SCVs for sure, though. Good damage on the SCV line for Cyan. But, oh, as long as he doesn't lose any of these Phoenixes. Phoenixes are deceptively expensive.
Didn't even need to worry. Look at that. Gets out, doesn't lose a single one. Happy days. And there we go. We see the splash choice coming out there for Cyan as the Templar Archives gets popped down.
Mm-hmm. Bad weather for the boys. It's the plan here for Cyan.
Yeah, for sure. Time now finally going to take his own third base. And kind of, I guess as that 1-1 gets close to finishing, he may move out and try and put a bit of pressure on. It's been a pretty calm one from Time so far. Usually I'm used to him being like pretty big on the harassment, but aside from that initial 3 Hellion drop, happy to macro away here at home. Obviously, like Phoenixes and whatnot make it a little bit more difficult to get out on the map and get stuff happening. But it looks like he is going to try and load up a double drop and go around the top side. As we've seen with our observer vision, the Phoenixes is typically roamed around the bottom side. However, they're now moving up towards that north side of the map.
Yeah, Cyan's army moving out to the very north here. The Phoenixes looked like they were on an intercept path, but they just missed it.
Did he see it?
This is a very common drop. No, this is a very common drop timing, so I think he was just looking for it. Maybe his stasis ward saw it, as Insano showed us, but he missed the medevac, and as a result, this Nexus is cancelled.
Nice. Well, it's got to feel
Cancel
pretty good now.
Claims another victim.
He does have to get these units out of here, which is the tricky part, right? Because Cyan was already trying to sort of wait for him here. And with Zealots on the ground and Phoenixes in the sky, he's just going to have to try and trade as well as he can with this.
He's already used boost, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yep, these medevacs just getting their boost back, trying to save as many as they can, but these medevacs are absolutely going to go down. So, you know, getting a cancel on the 4th base is nice, but that was a better trade for Cyan, I feel, to have that 4th canceled, even though he only just barely started as well. It's not like it was close to done. So that was actually really nice for Cyan. He started to look a little bit more comfortable here. Double Forge, 2-2 upgrades on the way. Same deal for the Terran, and this is definitely going to go to the later stages of the game, I feel, Zeph. I don't think either player can kill each other at the moment.
They're pretty far away from each other too. He might even try and bait Time into that stasis spot, unless that Marine triggers it. Yes, does. Very nicely done. Picks up the mines and moves forward with the charge loss. Decides it's a little bit spicy and pulls back to regroup here.
Yeah,
Blink did finish.
So how do you feel about the Templar Archives into Robotics Bay and a switch into Tier 3 Robo here? Maybe Cyan feeling like he's just going to get every single splash damage at the moment.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, with the rush distance, right, it's a long way to get across the map. Time hasn't shown any inclination to move out just yet. As more medevacs come out in the 2-2, I feel like he may consider doing so soon, but Cyan's kind of happy chilling in the middle of the map a bit, getting all the tech possibilities that he could need, and he's got that War Prism happening.
Is this a Storm Drop? What's in here? It's just Zealots.
It's Zealots, yeah.
I mean, the Robotics Bay makes sense here for Cyan in the sense that it means that he will be able to... Oh, that War Prism. He's threading the needle here on these Widow Mines.
Really nicely done there. And he'll keep that alive, so you can see Time's planning here, just knowing, okay, well, you're probably going to Warp Prism me at some point, so he's got those mines there, making it real difficult. He's even going to add a turret and another mine just on the edge to make sure that he doesn't get caught by surprise, because that is definitely one way we've seen Cyan take a lead and take a game with that harassment. So if you can shut that down, then that's really good for you as the Terran player. And yeah, Cyan's just like expanding and macroing up like a madman. Look at this.
Scans from Time seeing no gas at the 3rd is probably going to give him scratching his head, maybe thinking, oh, there's not going to be too much high-tech units here, but he's wrong. The gases are actually at the 4th base in the top right, so there is still actually 6 gases worth of mining for the Protoss, which is enough to afford these Tier 3 units.
I feel like, though, at 11 minutes in the game, surely you're like, well, he's got to have something.
Yeah.
And so he's moving in. Might be able to pick off a mine or two here again. He's looking for a spot, but there kind of isn't one. We did see Ghosts already come out, and 3 at a time in production there. So they're going to be well poised for this big splash army. We've got the DT Blink being researched by Cyan as well, as he tries to find an engagement here against Time.
Really nice usage of the Phoenixes and also Revelation to tag those Widow Mines. He hasn't taken any big Widow Mine hits just yet. EMP from Time, though, on the Zealots. Oh, sticking around a little bit too long in those Archons. Need to avoid the Archons. There's a good Widowmine connection. In come the Vikings as well to assist with the air units of Cyan. That's quite a big Viking fleet. And you got to keep making Vikings here as time, because the Colossi are the answers to the Ghosts at the moment for the Protoss. I actually really prefer Disruptors here when the Ghost phase kicks in from Terran. Good force field to save a few of those units. It's, yeah, compositionally, I like Disruptors a little bit more. It's because it feels like they work against Ghosts a bit better. The Colossi, you know, they do damage, especially with upgrades, but they're like, it feels like they do less damage. You know what I mean? Especially if you're already making Vikings, because you're dealing with, you know, with a lot of Protoss units in the air.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And Time also now expanding his empire quite a bit. Still haven't really seen a serious engagement between these two. They've both been just trying to get set up, and we may be treated to that maxed out army versus maxed out army. I think the key here is also trying to get something happening in the background as well, though, whether it's a drop or Warp Prism Harass or DTs or whatever. Because it's very hard to commit to like a big attack against your opponent's army in that maxed out situation, and make sure you come out on top. All right, Time already heading towards his 3-3 upgrades, getting more Vikings in the mix and more sensor towers just to make sure that he can keep tabs on Cyan at all times.
Oh, 3-3 is actually about to finish for Cyan. +3 armor is already done. +3 attack about to finish, and he's even getting his shield upgrades.
Oh, look at
Good
that
scan there from Time. Yeah, let's use those. The sensor tower shows him some blips, and he's like, what is this? Oh, DT's in here. All right, parting, calm down. He charged a lot of DT harassments. He's got blink on those DTs as well, because of course he does. And EMPing on those DTs. You want to see what a DT looks like? There it is. Ooh, this two-prong attack from Cyan, though the DTs and charge lots are coming on back in as the tier 3 robotics units come in here with the Archons. Grabs a tank or two. Oh no, he's losing a lot of DTs here, though.
Yeah, I don't know about that. It's not the best trade so far, but he's continuing on into that top left base. Cyan trying to poke in at the natural. Gets spooked by one Marauder, and the fact that the rest of the army is trying to flick around in two halves. This could actually be really horrible for Cyan. EMPs come down. The DT's cleaning up on the right-hand side, though. The army of the Terran survives on the left, and he does get pushed back a little bit.
Yeah, both players actually took a ton of damage there. Time's losing so many SCVs to these charge lots. Looks like they got into the natural. Top left isn't really taking too much damage. It was mainly the natural there. It might have been a War Prism or a run by there from Cyan. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the DTs on the right side actually won the fight. And he kills this planetary as well.
Whoa.
They are detected, but it doesn't really matter. He's got so much firepower on these +3 attack DTs. Another EMP on the DTs here.
That died in -2 seconds.
Now, Time's army is still bigger, but he just took a massive blow to his economy. The longer this game goes, at the moment, the better it is for Cyan. He's got 80 probes against the 56 workers of Time, and he killed a base and also a mineral line's worth of SCVs. So Time's, I feel like, under pressure to try and make something happen, but Cyan's just got such a macro engine right now. He's got so much production. Still has a lot of those tier 3 units still alive as well. You know, the Disruptors are getting through the mix. He has 4 robotics facilities. 4!
Wow.
Making double Disruptor and double Colossus.
Yeah, he's going to be able to take like the Zerg approach to unit making, 12 gateways, 4 robos. That's pretty wild. And he's always got this extra attacking group poised to do some more damage. And this is what makes it difficult for Time to actually move out or position his army anywhere, because you know Cyan's going to dip in wherever he is not. Now he's going to go for this planetary again. And the army is there to meet him, so he tries to run away and save those units for another time.
Time did scan the natural. He knows that this army is coming from Cyan. Cyan's done this before. He's trying to do it again. Time's actually split up his forces. He left some bio there at that planetary in the top left, so he can actually not die to the charge lots and DT run by, so he doesn't lose that planetary. Most of his army is actually cycling up to the high ground here, trying to make sure that this retaken base is safe here. He lost that one to DTs earlier. It's a brand new, fresh command center. The paint is still drying. He's turning it into a planetary. This War Prism has been a problem for Time. He got a lot of charge loss in the natural last time. DT's blinking onto the high ground. Nice move there, but of course that means they can't check out. So that is a ton of DTs killed. That was actually a very lovely trade for Time. Can he win this fight against the tier 3 units, though? Out come the Disruptor Novas. Good splits from Time. Very good control, and so many Vikings. These Colossi are negated completely.
Oh, and he might lose them. That Archon also very low.
Cyan just took an atrocious fight, Zeph. Look at that army supply difference.
Yeah, that was a fantastic fight. A little bit easier when you're even on the upgrades. with the Protoss now, and it seems like he's finally got a bit of a handle on this game. He's looking a little bit more bold. He's moving out through the middle of the map. Now, at the same time, Cyan's going to come in with this warp prism, mines, turrets, sensor towers everywhere, but he's still able to get in there. And that's really annoying for Time, who looks like he was trying to move out there a little bit. He does come home because he has to deal with this. He can't let his production just get shredded here.
Yeah, this was very important for Cyan that it worked, and it definitely did work. He pulled Time off the middle of the map and pulled him back into his main base to deal with harassment, which he is doing. This was not free for Cyan. You know, DTs are very expensive. The Prism died, a lot of Zealots died as well. But Cyan has money to burn. Time does not. So, I feel like these DT harassments need to calm down a little bit for Cyan. You know, he's going full parting here. I remember parting against TY on Nightshade, where he just went so ham on DTs and just didn't stop the magic. They are very expensive units, Seth. Look at that bank of Cyan. Remember when the bank used to exist?
Yeah, I mean, the units loss can't be in his favor, especially if he keeps doing this. Like, it's okay to be a little bit behind in the trades, but if you keep losing huge clumps of DTs, that becomes a problem very, very quickly. Now, Time is deep in Cyan's territory. Cyan is going for the big attack in the top left at the same time, going to pounce on that planetary. Where's the repair at? I don't know if it even matters.
No, it does not matter. Those DTs do too much damage. But can he stop this attack from the Terran is actually way more important. Top left getting picked off means that Time is all in. But Time's army is still very terrifying. He's got a lot of EMPs. He has a ton of Vikings as well. But DTs might be the answer here. Does Time have enough scans to actually get through all the DTs? There's no Ravens here. Bunch of DTs blinking on top of that planetary. I mean, Time is already all in. It's all about this fight right now. Disruption Nova's firing forward. Not many of them connecting. They're actually mostly whiffing here for Cyan. His expensive army is under threat. Seth, the Colossi are going to get picked up by those Vikings. The Bio getting the rest. Time's attack looking too deadly here. Oh no, the harassment from Cyan was really, really effective. It did a ton of damage, but he's left that front door open. Can the warp into home be enough? He's warping in 12 Stalkers right now.
Yeah, these DTs are insane. 40 workers killed, and they're still going. Time just doesn't have quite enough to deal with this, and in fact, he's going to run some of those SCVs away. Cyan has a lot of bases to kill, and he's trying to stock up some forces here. Disruptors again, not able to connect. And Time's force isn't that much bigger than what Cyan actually has.
Yeah.
I feel like Time's actually in trouble.
He is certainly in trouble. These DTs of Cyan finding more and more damage. A lot of disruptors coming out of those 4 robotics facilities. He made 4 disruptors in one cycle. There's suddenly 4 disruptors here. And that is going to be a tap out from Time. He did not have enough in the end to break the back of Cyan. And that counterattack ended up paying off in spades. Cyan getting a victory and tying up the score 2 apiece.
Who would have thought that the macro game would be where Cyan really, really shines against Time here? That was a brilliant game, a really quiet one, actually. We didn't see a lot happen until they were up to that 3-4 base position. And looking back on that, I think Cyan was the one bullying Time pretty much the whole game. Time didn't really get to come out here. This is the one drop that he went for after the initial Hellion harass. It got shut down. He ended up losing everything. And from that point on, I don't recall him actually getting any harassment of his own done.
No, you're quite right. It's very tough to harass because a lot of the Terran harassment is in the air, and you have to deal with a bunch of Phoenixes at that point. Now, Cyan took some bad fights. This is one of them that was kind of a trade on both sides. You know, Time lost a lot, and Cyan lost a few Colossi as well as a bunch of his ground units, his DTs and such. But as much as this was held, like this particular moment where Time, you know, held the DTs and took a pretty amazing fight here. Really good control from Time, by the way. His bio control is pretty fantastic. Cyan's DT harassment actually, in the end, ended up paying off when it really counted. Towards the end of the game there, when Time had all of his eggs in the aggression basket, the DTs and the charge lots picked off, what was it, 2 planetaries, 3 bases? Something like that?
2, 3, yeah. He just kept going. Like, it just didn't stop. I almost wonder, I mean, he needed the Liberators on the front lines, but I mean, maybe if he had one parked over one of the CCs or something, because he just didn't have anything that could actually kill the DTs. They just kept slamming out hits on those command centers and on the SCVs. And in the end, Cyan still had 80-something workers for a long time. He had infinity bases out on the map. So despite a great engagement there from Time, it was just too much in the end to handle. So fantastic game from Cyan. We are now at a 2-2 score. We're going to jump into the next game. But before we do, we're going to go to a break. And when we come back, we'll be in the next map.
G'day, mates. Welcome back to the DreamHack Summer Chinese Playoffs. We are in the midst of our grand finale between Cyan and Time. We are 2 points in the bag for either player in the best of 7, which means we are basically a best of 3 from here on out. Only 2 more lives remain for each of these players, and then it'll be all done. I'm very excited, Zeph. I'm getting hyped for this one. What's our next map?
I believe it's Everdream for our next map. And so another pretty standard one. And from there, I think it's Ice and Chrome and then Submarine as our last one. Now, that would be an interesting last map for sure.
Definitely.
But yeah, it's going to be really important, this map, because we're at that 2-2 score. So whoever wins, sitting on match point. It's got to be a good feeling. Now, let's see who ends up on top here as we are loaded into Everdream now. And in the red, in the bottom left, he's the Protoss player, Cyan.
Oh, yes. And in the top right here, in the blue from Kaiser Gaming, our Terran player, he is Time.
So last time we saw them play on this map, I believe this was the one that Time did the proxy starport on against Cyan, if I'm not mistaken.
You might be right. Yeah, they're very, very south of the map at 6 o'clock. There's a mineral line where Terran sometimes puts their starport for sure for a medevac. Just to be jerks with that medevac drop. It's just such a common thing in this matchup at the moment, all over the place, every region.
Yeah, it's about the most we've seen Time mix it up, and unfortunately it got scouted right away. I don't believe it ended up really being very useful there. It's a similar opening to what we just saw in Golden with the Hellion drop, trying to get some probe damage there nice and early. So yeah, keen to see if he would do something like that again. I feel like maybe just sticking with his safer openings might be the way to go here, because Cyan's shown that in the longer games, he can go toe-to-toe with this guy. He doesn't need no parting blink build. He's got what it takes.
It's very interesting that we haven't seen it yet, now that you mention it. Feels like such a strong thing to throw into a longer series, just to try and snap a quick map win. Time actually opening with Reaper this game. Normally, he's actually been opening without the Reaper for most of these games, which is a little bit different in TVP. So seeing a little bit more of a standard opening, but definitely being conservative with that Reaper.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder, because I know the parting builds have been so popular recently, if they're starting to reach the end of their days a little bit, because Terrans are starting to get better and better at defending against them. Obviously, the big asterisk there is if they scout it, which is what ended up being the issue.
Cyan's looking for that starport location potential.
Yeah. Very thorough. Both of them being quite safe here.
Now, I do believe that's the second and third gateway coming in for Cyan. I think he's still on 1 with 2 on the way. Have we seen a... Okay, so he hasn't actually dropped his next tech structure yet. So this is going to be that... We saw it on Death Aura, actually, where Cyan just warps in Stalkers and tries to pressure the Terran to death.
Yeah, just being a bit of a pest. You can go maybe, well, he's got the Twilight there. I wonder if he goes straight into charge like he has been, or if he actually takes Blink this time. I think the previous time that he did this, he went for the Robo right off the bat after this as well. But yeah, so he can just harass at the front here. Now, with the way Time's been playing, he's had a bunker at the front. He's been very wary. He's opening with that very safe Raven build again. So that's to his credit here. He should be okay, but, those depths are slippery.
Yeah, going at depths here instead of Stalkers, so a little bit of a difference from Cyan. The third CC's made the main base here for Time, as Terrans usually do in this matchup. You don't get it on the low ground like you do against Zerg. It's asking to get it cancelled. Reaper going for a bit of a poke over here. Doesn't really get a ton of information from the Reaper. Oh, that's a lot of Adepts, F. Time, I mean, he has a bunker. With this many Adepts, though, you can just shade past the bunker and just finish that shade right in that mineral line and kill approximately 1 million SCVs.
Yeah, more or less. And the annoying thing is that you close that front door there to make sure you can't go into the main, but that means that the SCVs have nowhere to run. Now, these Marines come out, they're starting to try and target down these Adepts. The SCVs sheltering there near the bunker try to go up to the main again, not able to do anything there. The siege tank comes out, and that will make it a bit more difficult to harass here, but he's denying a lot of mining time.
Yeah, even killing that depot, which means that Time's supply blocked. Very nice pick off there for Cyan. Time stuck on 54. And the Adepts get out of there, and most of them still alive. This has been a very lovely start for Cyan. I'm a big fan of this. Time's extra supply depot's finishing up. Third CC's about to finish as well. Oh, okay. So this is going to keep Time pinned back for a little bit, and Cyan is dropping his extra gateways with that third. Reaper doesn't get a ton more information, but this is just looking like a nice macro follow-up for Cyan.
Man, he's stressing me out with those last-minute supply depot closes. But yeah, I credit to Cyan here. He's doing a really great job with continuing the aggression, continuing the harassment. This is just up and down with that supply depot. You can just do this all day. Now that there's a Cyclone out, he's actually finally able to clean up that pylon. As we see Cyan back at home, finally moving into charge and looking towards some splash units as well.
Yeah, I think he got Blink behind this, if I'm not mistaken. He's going to charge with the Templar Archives. Cool. Cyan is doing this on 4 gases, so he should be able to go up into Archons pretty quickly here. And, oh, good catch with this War Prism. Rather, with the Raven on that War Prism. Gives him early warning of shenaniganry, potential shenaniganry.
Yeah, that's important because the War Prism, I feel like, is so key to Cyan's success. Most of the time when he's been able to take a good fight or kill off a whole bunch of SCVs or something, it's because he's been in 2 places at once. Yeah, very nicely done. 3 auto turrets go down in desperation there to get something done, but unfortunately not able to succeed.
I really dislike Raven harassment in this matchup for precisely that reason. Even if the Raven is scouted, like I think that even though the Raven is like not the greatest fighting unit, it has so much utility. It's your mobile observer pickoff unit. It's a potential interference matrix on a War Prism. It's an anti-armor missile and a ball of charge lots. Going for harassment feels super not worth with a Raven. Like it is just so easy for Protoss to pick it off with defensive stalkers.
Yeah, it's not that speedy, is it? Pretty early ghosts coming for time.
Yeah, it's a good call.
Yeah, he's caught on to what Cyan's plan is here, so that's going to help him out. Now, Adepts might finish this Shade. Uh-oh.
Yep.
All right, so of course the attack is going to come into the natural at the same time, forcing Time to be in 2 places at once. The siege tank gets picked off. The Bio microing back nicely against this Gateway Force, but he is forced to lift there.
Storm's coming down on the Bio army. That is definitely connecting with quite a bit of it. He's thinned out that Bio count. Not a huge army at the moment from Time. He does have the better upgrades. He's got +1 attack. And he's about to have a few ghosts as well. A good EMP on this cluster of forces and fighting at this bunker. I think Time should be able to hold here. Definitely taking a lot of damage though. 11 SCVs dying. Cyan's worker count isn't super high. He's been putting a lot of energy and resources into this army.
Initial ghosts go down. A big warp in again on that front line. The SCV is forced to fight, still helping surround the Immortal. And with those mines coming in and a bit of a regroup here, he is able to flush Cyan out of here. And yeah, maybe he can retake his third now. 25 SCVs did go down.
They did indeed. Time took a big hit to his economy. Cyan, though, wasn't probing up during this until just now. And the third base of Time is still alive. It's not on location making SCV, so it's not optimal for the Terran, and he's certainly down in workers. But look at these upgrades. The Protoss' Forge is just starting just now. Time already has been producing ghosts, and he's got +1. So I would say that this is relatively even all up, with Cyan maybe being ever so slightly ahead. But perfectly playable for both players. Neither player going to die here.
Yeah, Time just needs to get that SCV production back up and keep tabs of that War Prism. It's floating around the north. I mean, Time is well experienced at this point in dealing with that. He knows that's something that he has to keep in the back of his mind, and he has got missile turrets and mines positioned to try and stop that. However, Cyan has been a pretty persistent player with this harassment, and he's been able to get in here regardless a lot of the time. Oh, not quite able to pick that off.
Get out of here with that. Every Terran in the whole world just got triggered. I felt for you, my brothers. Ooh, and that War Prism is going to go down to the Widowmine here. This is the most common thing in the whole world, is go 1 turret, 1 Widowmine for Prism defense. So not going to get a whole lot done. Good defense from Time. Loses a couple SCVs. Oh, the Natural somehow. Some charge loss just walking on in here. Finding a lot more SCVs than the Prism and the attack at the third did.
I love how Cyan runs him around, honestly. Like, it feels like he shouldn't be getting anything in here at all. And sure, for like, what, 6, 7 Zealots and a Warp Prism, he only gets 4 workers, but he'll be back. And he has good potential to do even more damage to Time's economy. Now, Time has had enough messing around for a little bit. He's actually going to move out here with these units. He's got 3 mines in tow. So let's see how he goes. The army supply for Time is a little bit higher, and a bunch of Cyan Zealots are actually across the map at the moment.
Now, there's 2 ghosts here and a lot of High Templar in the back of this force. Can Time get the EMPs, or will he eat the bad weather? There's a good EMP from Time, but there's still some storms remaining. Charge loss on the right side. Time just cuts through them with the Bio. There's the rest of the High Templar. They're inside the War Prism.
Yeah, he's trying to hunt him down there, and Time spots it. He wants to go for it. Oh, he wants it so badly.
Yeah. You can taste it.
Yeah, 1 storm goes
600
down.
gas in that prism. So much gas.
Yeah, it's a tempting target, isn't it? But it's tricky to actually get close enough
Ooh, I like this.
With enough units to not lose everything. So 4 medevacs loaded up. They're going to go straight into the main. Cyan, I don't think he's actually seen it. He's in the wrong position at the moment. And this has potential to pick off some tech, pick off some pylons, do some damage. And
Yeah, so far just gateways. There's that drop against the prism. Oh, and that means all 4 High Templar are dead. And picking off some gateways for good measure. This drop has been very good for Time, and he's not done just yet. And counterattack the third base. There is enough units from Time to hold on. And he gets oh my god, he escaped with all the medevacs. Get out of here. You're not supposed to get that. Someone call the police. The Terran just got away with a crime right there. That is actually a crime. It's a felony. It's a felony 1.
And now we have another force moving up the north side of the map towards the potential 4th base of Cyan, which he's just now trying to get set up. And more tech is coming out for Cyan, but he has sort of had the tides turn against him a little bit here, and he's now on the defensive trying to deal with this multi-prong harass. There's ghosts, there's mines, so that makes it a little bit more complicated to engage. Now this Nexus is just straight up gonna die. Uh-oh, this Colossi in trouble.
Yeah, Time's random attack into the natural there, picking off a Colossus. The Liberators get dealt with, but he does lose the 4th. That means it's 3 base against 3 base again, and Time continues to actually hold a lead here, even EMPing the shield batteries. That shield battery overcharge doesn't really care about that. You can still activate that ability, but that means only 1 shield battery is assisting you there. And Time is going to deflect. He's going to pull back for now, but he has been taking some very good fights so far, Zeph, and that's a lot of the reason why he's winning at the moment. Well, not, super winning, but he's back in the game and looking a very, very, very strong again.
Getting the ghost upgrade. Ooh, very
You got
nice.
You got your Prism High Templar. How about Medevac Ghost? There it is.
And okay, I was wondering where the 4th base was for Time, if he already had one built or if he was yet to take it. So that is building now. That's an opportune target for some Cyan harassment, but it looks like Time is actually going to park himself there for that exact reason. He's backed right up to his side of the map as Cyan tries to reestablish his own 4th Nexus there. Now the tech for Cyan is still doing pretty well. He's got Archons, he's getting Disruptors in the mix now. Of course, he has the Colossi and the Storm, so it's basically Splash City. That's why those EMPs are going to be completely the most important thing here, because that can absolutely change whether or not you're going to win a fight. A bunker coming up at that 3rd base at a good timing, because some Zealots are going to try and run in here. Plenty of bio to deal with that. And this is a big attack from Cyan, looking to get something done here.
Enhanced Shockwave about to finish here for these Ghosts as well for that extra EMP radius, which would be absolutely fantastic against this Immortal Archon High Templar-based force. Not too many charge lots in here for Cyan. He's made some Disruptors, but they're actually not really a huge part of this battle at the moment. They will be later.
Nice. Baits out an EMP there, blinks away. It looks like he might try his luck over towards the 3rd base. Now there is a sensor tower there, showing that the army is moving towards that direction, so he should be pretty well on top of it. And it looks like his 4th base behind us has gotten up pretty well. The Stalkers take a big MP, but he's not looking to engage there just yet, so not too bad.
And Stalkers breaking off from the pack. Obviously with Blink, they can be really annoying here. Just potential harassment, picking off a thing here and there. But as a standing force, the Stalkers really leave a lot to be desired. This base is naked, though. It's not a planetary just yet. As is the 4th Nexus. Both players about to take a bit of damage. Oh, no, the Stalkers are pulling back. Cyan indecisive with this army. Now he's caught in the middle of nowhere. The Stalker's doing absolutely nothing.
Time is absolutely going to get this Nexus. Cyan actually just can't contest that right now. He may be able to take an engagement as Time tries to head back home. And he's actually supply blocked here as well. Disruptor shots come out. There's a big one there.
Good Nova to the north. That was definitely a great connection there. Got a lot of the bio, a couple of the Ghosts as well. Time's army supply took a knock from those Disruptors for sure. Somehow, even with Chrono Boost, Time is actually starting to... he's not too far behind on his +3 armor, but he's ahead on +3 attack. It's interesting.
Yeah, the constant denial of these bases will really start to sting Cyan soon. He's still doing fine at the moment, but one bad fight and he may not be able to hold on to these Nexuses. I like that he's expanding to the more southern location at the same time. And oh, there it is. There's that DT shrine, which has done amazing work for him.
And for every Protoss, you get the Dark Shrine late in the game, and if the Terran doesn't have turrets in the mineral line, they're going to lose bases. It really is as simple as that. It's such a good late game gut check from the Protoss to just go for a Dark Shrine, get DT Shadow Stride, the DT Blink ability, and just send those things out there with a charge loss. I mean, we saw how effective it was in Golden Wall. It really is that simple. It's such a strong thing that Terran, puts the onus on the Terran to defend. With the Protoss, you can largely set it and forget it. It's kind of like a shift-queued Liberator. For the Protoss, it's kind of like a shift-queued DT and Zealot attack. Well, it's a lot of Vikings here.
Yeah. The Colossi aren't actually with this force at the moment, and that Disruptor shot has been spent. Links forward, actually. Takes a huge EMP to the face.
Cyan, don't fight this. Cyan.
I think he's committing. Oh, no, he's committing. Those Disruptor shots, not the worst, but huge amount of damage coming out from Time's army, and this army for Cyan is at half health without all those shields, and he's just going to be punching through. Big Disruptor shot. Yes, very nicely done.
Very nice Disruptor shot, but there is still a live bio, and when the Disruptor has blown its load, as it were, it's not a super useful unit anymore. Bio on the hunt. He just killed so many tier 3 robotics units. He killed so many Colossi, so many Disruptors, and not to mention a bunch of Archons and Gateway units as well. Cyan is against the ropes right now, Zeph. This is looking extremely good for the Terran at the moment.
Look at the production tabs. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. No, Time actually could be spending his money a little bit better right now, but that's just being hypercritical. That's me pushing the glasses up the bridge of my nose and going, well, actually. But it is looking so good for Time. He's almost certainly got this game.
He's focusing on microing this. He knows that Cyan can't possibly have a big force at the moment after a fight like that, and he's just looking for the right spots to engage in to maximize the damage here. He's got plenty of army to come, more mines, more ghosts, more bio coming up behind this, so he can just reinforce and keep this pressure up. Even some Liberators sneaking into this composition now, and these Disruptors are really the only money unit left to Cyan unless he can get some DTs going.
Yeah, I really would like to see that Dark Shrines being thrown into the mix here to just really mess with Time back on his side of the map, because at the moment, Cyan is being pressed up against the mat with Time just applying so much pressure here with a small cluster bio. This isn't even his final form, Zeph. There's still more army on the other side of the map waiting to join in. The Nexus goes down for the 3rd time in this game. Oh my goodness. Big Novas, though. Did take a lot of the army down at least.
Jeez. Yeah, the splash on both sides there actually stinging a little bit. Now he saves the medevacs by the looks of it, and he's got some more units to retreat to at home. But taking out this base repeatedly really stings. That's the last thing that Cyan needs right now. While Time, he's comfortably got, what's that, 5 bases? I think there's a 6 CC about to finish up there as well. He's looking dire.
Yeah, it certainly is. This Rich Vespanian guys is kicking on in. Disruptor threads the needle and grabs both those Widow Mines there with the Nova. Well done. But this is the push that Cyan needs to stop. This attack from Time looks so good. Oh, there's the medevac ghost. Terran's at home. If you got the APM, there's your War Prism High Templar, the Terran's version. Grabs the High Templar. No storms here for Cyan. Just Disruptors. Can Disruptors do the job here? Technically, yes, but takes a lot of control, and Time is so good at splitting his forces.
Yeah, there's another beautiful split right there. He's sending out the fourth and final Nova, I should say. And the army now engaging with the Archons. There's not actually that much bio left, so he may need to come back another time and finish this off, although hold that
right
thought. Here comes a bit more bio, yep.
How about right now? That army supply of Time is really speaking the tale of where all that army is. It's not always on the front line, but it is all here now, or most of it is. Splitting against those Disruptors, oh my god. Is actually just too good at the video game. Time jets over to match point here with a victory on Everdream. Well played. Oh my goodness. We're getting to the business end of this best of 7, Zeph, and remember that Time is recovering from the lower bracket here. Cyan put him down there. He's 1 map away from getting the revenge and securing his ticket to the season finals.
Yeah, that's very true, and he's looking pretty good. That's kind of what happens when, I guess, Cyan doesn't get to do the same harassment that we've seen in the previous games. I feel like that's the games that he's winning. And that one, he got really pinned back, couldn't secure the 4th base, took that one horrific fight. And
this was huge as well. Lost the Prism here. Yeah, lost the Prism, lost the Cyber Core actually, as well as a bunch of gateways. So this is a really massive moment for Time. I feel like this was the moment in this game where momentum started to shift towards the Terran. And in true Time fashion, when momentum shifts his way and he has the lead, have you seen him throw a lead yet, Zeph?
Nope.
Exactly.
Yeah. He did really well. I actually forgot that at the start of this game, oh, there was some nice disruptor hits there. There was a fair bit of SCV damage done to Time as well by Cyan. So it's not like he didn't have any good moments in this game. He's certainly on the money with some of these disruptor hits, able to do a bit of damage to his opponent, but he just got stuck after a little while after that initial big blow in the main. And then this engagement was just absolutely disastrous. Some great hits towards the end here, and it did take Time a few goes to actually finish him off once and for all. But at the end of the day, there was just so much more money for Time, so much more supply, and he just couldn't keep up with the Protoss units he had available to him.
Yeah. Time's splitting is absolutely insane as well. Look at that individual unit splitting down to the south side, just when it was just a scrap of bio against a scrap of robotics tech. Beautiful control from Time and just really good decision making. He definitely started the game on the back foot after that big attack. I'm with you on that, Seth. You know, I saw people say, oh, Time's dead AF, he's dead, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, that's always puts a smile on my dial when people do that. And Time, of course, was completely fine. He was in a rough spot for sure. I agree with you, and I agree with you know everyone that said that Time was in a bad spot. Dead, absolutely don't agree, obviously, because he won the game. But in a rough spot, yes, I agree. He wasn't in a comfortable spot. But that big drop in the main base that we saw at the beginning of the replay reel there was the moment where Time took the lead. And then once he gets the lead, he's like a dog with a bone. He just doesn't let it go. He is so good at maintaining the lead by just you know, continuing the momentum and really good decision making as well as insane control. And those are the two things I feel that are like the difference between a good player and a great player, if you know what I mean. Like, you can't teach control and decision making. Like, that's just stuff that that's stuff that kind of comes to you over just, you know, hundreds of thousands of games of StarCraft.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. And I felt like that was a bit of a role reversal from Golden Wall as well, where we had Time pinned back. The Phoenixes have shut down a lot of his opportunity to harass. He's got DTs blinking in on one side of the map and the Protoss army on the other side, whereas there on Everdream, his main army is picking off a Nexus, and at the same time, you know, there's units running around that he needs to pay attention to. He's getting EMP'd from Medivacs. There's like multiple things to be paying attention
Very
to
stylish.
there. And yeah, it was really cool to watch. Awesome game from Time there. And now he's on match point, which is pretty awesome. We're getting into Ice and Chrome. And so potentially another really long game here. This is typically given us some solid macro maps, unless it was Silky playing. It's like a 50-50 there. We had one super long game from him on that map and one like 4-minute game.
Yes, Ice and Chrome. I mean, we don't have Silky here, so I feel like this game is probably going to go a little bit longer. As I say, that Time is proxying.
Okay.
Oh, never mind. Forget everything I just said. I'm a dummy. In the bottom left here, on match point, in the blue, the Terran hero. He is Time.
And needing a win to stay alive here. And grab that seed. This is the red Protoss, Cyan.
I feel like this is normally a pretty decent map for PvT as a Protoss. You know, you got a lot of space, you got a lot of map to dominate. But Time is going to be putting on the proxy sauce here, seeing how it tastes. That probe is looking for exactly this. But unfortunately, he's pathing, yeah. Double gas from Time as well. So, I mean, this could be a very committed proxy. It could be like a factory after the barracks out on the map, or it could be getting his factory at home. We'll see here.
Does Time go that deep though? I feel like, I mean, I've spent a lot of time being like, yeah, Time's not going to change anything. He just plays macro and then he proxies. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, he'll probably make the factory at home, right? But time will tell. Pun not intended. So Reaper is on the way here, and the probe, of course, coming in and being like, oh my goodness, you are kidding me.
Oh my god. Yeah. He's got to look for the macro-racks as well, right?
Yeah.
You got to go around and go, is this actually proxy? Oh, God, I don't want to make that zealot if I don't need it.
Yep. And then I think if he comes below the main here and he sees nothing, then he's probably getting closer and closer to confirming that this is actually properly proxied. And I mean, the Reaper will help him reach that conclusion fairly quickly here as it starts to hop up into that main.
I mean, this Reaper is going to get probe damage here. Question is how much. Good control on the probe so far from Cyan, pulling back the hurt ones. Very nice. Just trying to buy the moment that attempt to come out, which it does. So, yeah, no probe damage just yet. Really good control on those probes from Cyan.
Yeah, beautifully done. Second Reaper will come out in a second, and that complicates things a little bit. But of course, the Stalker is just about to be out here as well. So Time has elected to continue his tech tree at home. He's not going deep on the proxy idea here.
Yeah, not going for the full like 1-1-1 proxy, which some Terrans do when they really don't feel like playing TVP. It's like, nah, this is going to end one way or another. And they just push with like a really quick tank and bunkers. It's very brutal. And I was going to say that this map, because it is so large, it's very nice for Stargate openers as Protoss. Similar to Golden Wall, similar to Eternal Empire. I feel like there's some of the better Stargate maps in PvT. And Cyan agrees, going for Stargate in this game. And it looks like Time is actually going to load up Hellions quickly again here. Floating his barracks back home means that he is going to have to rely on just his factory and starport production for a little bit until that barracks has landed again.
Yeah, and Cyan, having been busy defending at home, hasn't really had the opportunity to slide back in there and have a look at what the follow-up is going to be. Obviously, this is a pretty common build anyway, without the proxy, just have those Hellions dropping in. So walling off here at the front as those Reapers come in and try to be a bit of a pest and
Smart.
seize those Hellions as well.
Yep, Time not getting a whole lot done here. Obviously, with the medevac, you can just get around this wall and go into the main instead. Just take them up there and ferry them in first class. A Liberator follow-up from Time. Has been a very aggressive opening from our Terran friends so far, but Cyan hasn't taken any big blows yet. But now that Hellions getting into the main base, let's see. Ooh, where's that Oracle going? Cyan's keeping it at home for now.
Yeah.
It's also very good for Protoss. And he sees this medevac with E-Dev. Okay. He has what he needs to hold these Hellions. Hopefully the probes don't take too much damage. There's no shield battery this time like there was on Golden Wall.
Okay. 3 probes for 1 Hellion and gets out of there with everything intact otherwise. And the Phoenix follow-up is going to continue here for Cyan. Liberator now on its way, so Phoenix is actually going to be pretty nice here. But provided he's actually at home.
Time's going for the jailbait medevac here, but unfortunately the medevac doesn't survive long enough to fly over the Winter Mines. Yep.
Good idea there. Does he actually have anything to defend against the Oracle here, aside from the 2 Marines?
Nope.
Yeah. Yeah,
Liberator,
yeah, because the mines are out in the middle of nowhere.
But that's the thing. Like as a Protoss, you don't know that there's not Widow Mines here, so you just don't send your Stargate units in. It's like, oh, it's not worth it. I'll probably lose an Oracle or a Phoenix. But obviously, we know with our Cast of God cams that he absolutely could have gone in there with the Oracle and really ruined Time's day.
Nice. So Liberator does set up, but immediately we see a response from Cyan there. Sentry goes down, which is pretty nice. But that Liberator, gets popped shortly after as the Protoss here stops the Phoenix production and heads into that Twilight and Forge.
Yep, switching gears out of Stargate into something of a ground force, dropping out these extra gateways, and going to go to the 3rd base in a second here, as the probe is about to take it. The Hellions at least going to slow down that 3rd. Not deny it, but just slow it down.
Yep. And it looks like Cyan, oh, he's so close to getting popped. Oh my
boy.
goodness.
So close.
I want to see it.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Bye, Oracle. That's
Got him. Whoa. That mine had have actually gone the other way.
Oh, no. Okay. The Phoenix flew over that Widow Mine there, but Cyan sees it. Thanks, Observer. On you, mate. Thank you, Observer. Into Templar Archives again. I mean, Time has been pretty consistently getting a Ghost Academy nice and early, like around when he starts 2-2 and even before that sometimes, just going for the Ghost Academy pretty quickly. That might be how he likes to play TVP, or it might be something that he just feels like Cyan, like he knows that Cyan likes to go Templar tech more than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of games as an example, right? So,
good, sees the Temple Archives.
That helps
That's
as well.
Ghost Academy. Yeah, you go Ghost Academy now.
Yeah, he'll probably pop it down in just a second. Heading into his upgrades. I guess the one thing for Cyan here in terms of the upgrades is he is going to be a little bit ahead on that, having gotten the 1 Forge a bit earlier. And Time coming out here to secure his 3rd now armory coming down in preparation for heading into the 2-2. And obviously he's also continuing with that mine tech as well.
All right, so no Storm here for Cyan. He's just using it to get Archons at the moment. It is an expensive upgrade. It's 200, so hasn't quite been able to afford it yet because he's been using his production cycles on making units, getting those probe rounds out. Speaking of probes, Cyan's economy looking pretty good at the moment. And up into the mid-60s with time catching up, lagging behind a little bit, as Terran usually does. Still no Ghost Academy from time, amazingly. He's just going, oh no, Armory 2-2 upgrades. This is a priority to me. I'm not that afraid of the Templar tech. He definitely scanned it. I know he scanned it. I saw that with that scan.
Yeah, I'm probably happy to get it a little bit later, maybe. Just because he sort of knows Cyan's sitting back. Archons are probably out, but he probably doesn't have like a huge amount of Storm ready to go just yet. But yeah, he's just sort of posturing out on the map, getting some vision happening with the single Marines, looking at the watchtowers as well. And this will start to give him a bit of an idea of how Cyan's shaping up at the moment. And more tech is in line for Cyan there in the production tab as he himself starts to move out a little bit.
He does. Time does have the upgrade lead, though. And he's about to be tied up when +1 attack finishes for Cyan. So Cyan is taking up quite a bit, so he doesn't have a whole lot of anything at the moment. He's got to look a little bit of everything. Time pulls back away from those Widow Mines, which do not fire up their charge yet, so they actually could still be in this battle. Getting those Widow Mines in range of these Archons and Stalkers would be really fantastic.
Oh,
kind of
man.
ignores the shields here. Oh, the Archon pickoffs. Damn. That's unfortunate for Cyan.
Oh, yeah. Careful getting a bit fresh with those mines there.
Easy target. Ugh, that sucks. He doesn't have Blink just yet, unfortunately.
Yep, just seconds away. And +1 finishing up now too. Disruptors are going to be in the mix shortly as well, and that's where Cyan may be able to pressure a little bit more confidently. It's a bit tricky when you got all these mines. As soon as they burrow, you have to pull back. And again, Time moving forward here, sending the mines right up the front. Does get one sniped, but he's still pressing the issue here a little bit. Continuing to rally some units across towards this main force. Does he actually have enough to take a fight here?
I don't think Time can defeat this army, but he's trying to trade as well as he can against it. Maybe pull them back to those Widow Mines. Oh, that Nova not only gets a bio unit there, it also picks off those 2 Widow Mines, so a good disruption there from Cyan. And Time, he's still making his Ghosts. He's got his Ghost Academy on the way, but he's up against Disruptors. Now, normally Terrans, when they're up against Disruptors, they're like, all right, Fusion Core, Advanced Ballistics, let's get Liberators out. But Time's just like, no, I'm going to split like a god. That's how I deal with Disruptors. So I'm assuming he's just going to keep making bio and mine here. That's basically my point. He's going to have 2-2 much quicker than the Protoss as well, which is huge. It's a good lead for the Terran there.
Split forces here as well. Small force at the top, small force at the bottom. Both have been spotted because of the watchtower presence from Cyan there, so very good vision for him, keeping tabs on what's going on as he continues to add more and more disruptors in, getting that War Prism Speed DT Shrine on the way as well. And as usual, Time is a little bit set up for this War Prism harass, but it's never quite that simple.
Ooh, gets a Ghost there. Very nice. Second Ghost pick off with the Stalkers. Very nicely there by Cyan. That Prism did take a little bit of damage from that turret and dies, actually. Pulls back and dies. It's unfortunate for Cyan. Prisms aren't as cheap as they used to be, Zeph.
No, they are not. +3 attack on the way now for Time, and that could be a really nice advantage. +2 is still a little ways from finishing up for Cyan, so Time at the moment could trade better so long as he gets a favorable engagement. Great run by here from Cyan into this fourth base, I should say, location. Hasn't quite got enough to clean it up. I should be okay.
No, yeah, he'll be fine here. So Time's planetary not done yet, and he didn't want to lift up or cancel it. The tank's exposed. The charge lots they get on those tanks will be able to kill them very quickly. The Stalkers blink forward. Cyan just firing out Novas. He's going to pick off that second tank as well. The third one still survives. He comes in for round 2 and picks off 3 tanks right there. 7 SCVs also dying at that planetary, so a good little window of damage from Cyan. He did do a nice bit of hurt to the economy of Time, but the Terran's economy still seems fine here. He's over 70 workers. He's got 4 bases worth of saturation. And with Terran, if you've got 4 bases of saturation, you can basically just continue to max out over and over again quite a bit. As long as you're doing all right with your fights, That's a lot of Widowmines covering this Bio Army, which is right on top of that Nexus. Cyan needs to brave this minefield, or at least use Disruptors to get rid of it. He loses the Nexus here, and now it's 4 base Terran against 3 base Protoss. Cyan has not been expanding a lot in this game.
Beautiful snipe there from Time. Straight away, Cyan double expands to retake that base and take an extra one. Again, a Zealot run by coming into this base. This has been Cyan's strength, and he's starting to keep tabs on where he can actually roll in with these Zealots, and I expect this to continue to be a theme here.
Where are these probes dying? Is it the Liberator? 18 probes just died.
Where?
I think it might have been the third at the bottom there. There's something in the bottom right just flying around. But anyway, can't really tell. On our clean feed, we actually can't tell colors very easily if something is out in the middle of the map. Yeah, a ton of probes just died.
Nicely done by Time there. Disruptor shots come out, but actually don't end up doing anything there. And he is punching through pretty hard here. He does lose a base in return, but this is a massive bioforce here, Maynard. I don't know if Cyan can actually hold on.
No, he cannot. That third Nexus is absolutely dead. Cyan's army is out in the middle of the map there. He did get the planetary, and that's all well and good, but Time just did so much damage, not only to the economy of Cyan, but also to his army. He killed so many units there. In comes those Stalkers from the left side, but they're just Stalkers. Where are those Disruptors? In come those Novas now. Time with the splits again, and he's picking up Disruptors as the Novas come in. He hasn't lost any units to these Disruptors in this battle. How does he do it? Time! The control is just too damn good. He's too damn good. And he solidifies his place as the #1 player